In this video, I'm going to be ranking all of the Pokemon TCG formats. I have them here in a nice little tier list all the way from S through F. These are a wide variety of formats. I also use my own images that I just decided to pull up, and also they're cropped funnily, but you know, it's all good. It doesn't really matter. We'll start off with good old standard format though here, I think, and I'll go, I think, A tier. It's a very solid format. It's the most supported format in the Pokemon TCG. It's what all the cards are made for. It certainly gets bad at times, but it's definitely, if you want to play the game at like a moderately serious level, standard format's probably the place for you. And then I guess we'll move on to expanded format here, which is, I hope I'm getting these logos right. I think I am. Expanded format is pretty, it's not great. It has more options than standard, but it's pretty awful, honestly. Like, it's competitively, it's awful, and like at a more serious level, it's awful. Oh, this one's not rendering. Okay. I was looking at it, I was like, what is this? I figured it out. Yeah, this is like, it's okay. It's not a great format though. I wouldn't really recommend you play expanded. There's no reason to play it over standard. It's just kind of worse, unfortunately. It's not supported very much, but it's kind of okay. There are some fun decks as well you can play, so I'll leave it in C tier. And then I guess Legacy format. Legacy format is kind of interesting with the decks, but it's kind of impossible to play in terms of like online. It's completely garbage because it's just so toxic. The format's kind of funny, but there's some weird rulings and I guess a bit confusing. The dominant decks are also expensive. Is D tier too harsh? I'll leave it in C. I'm not even sure. I might like it. I think I like it. I can't put it higher than expanded, though. It's just not an easy to play and accessible format. Moving on to themed format, though. This one's really cool. I like themed a lot, but it's kind of being dropped in terms of support as well. But it's still a really good format. I think it has to go A tier. I'd put it above standard if they hadn't discontinued it 3 years ago and then given up on the client where you play it. But even then, it's still a very solid format. If you haven't played themed, definitely play it. Now let's see. Unlimited, I'll do next. Unlimited format's like kind of awful, but in terms of like seriously playing it, but at the same time, it's kind of what you play casually with friends. Once you get a bit more into it, you get your collection, you learn the actual rules of the game. Unlimited is kind of what you play in, and it works okay for casual play. There's a different format kind of based on Unlimited, which I guess I'll talk about now as well. That being U150. No one really plays U150 though. It's like thought out, but it's trying to make the unlimited format like work, but it's not really meant to work. It removes a lot of like big Pokemon as well. It doesn't really, like, no one plays this format. Like, whenever I was doing research for this video to find out the different, if there are any formats I hadn't heard of, the number one, and I have heard of U150 before, it's supposed to be like Commander for Pokemon. It doesn't really work. It's not actually Singleton, I don't think, but it's supposed to be Singleton, and it's just not great. We'll talk about GLC as well here. GLC is better, definitely. U150 is like pretty awful though. I don't think anyone really plays this. The idea is kind of fun, but it's one of those formats that didn't take off like at all. I think out of all these formats, it sees the least play. Maybe not this one, but no one really plays this. It unfortunately just kind of flopped. A few people like it, but I don't think it's very good. I wouldn't really recommend playing it. It's also very complicated in terms of rulings. There are these like weird ban lists, and it's just very strange. And then the rules, like the actual rules of the game are changed. It's 100 cards. You can't really play it anywhere. So the likelihood of you actually being able to play this format is very low. GLC, though, it's not actually F tier. It's definitely B tier. It's not officially supported, really. I mean, kind of, but not really. It's not awful. It's certainly a good format. It's fun. Honestly, it started at S and has slowly worked its way down the tier list as time's gone on. But it's certainly a fun format. But the issue is it used to be very casual, which was what made it so good. That's like why Unlimited format is so good. But then it's slowly like become more serious, which has made the format worse. It's become less accessible, especially now that Lives and PTCGO, none of them officially support it. PTCGO almost supports it, but not completely. And there just have been some issues with the format overall, but overall GLC is cool. I should probably make a video on it. I've said this before that I should make like a serious GLC discussion style video, but yeah, I'll probably get to that. Now let's talk about I guess I'll talk about aceless format. This format is just single price standard. I think there are some bans. I haven't really played this format too much. I don't know what the like ban list is that people look at. This format's okay. It seems theoretically kind of cool, but I don't know if it's any good. I haven't really played it. I don't know if Lost Zone's legal. Like, if Lost Zone's legal, then it would just be insane. But yeah, I'd say it's probably like B. I don't really play this. I'll put it in like C tier. It sees a little bit of play, I think, but doesn't get talked about too much. It's not an awful format. It's kind of whatever. B, C, somewhere in the middle. It's like definitely better than these like unpleasant to play formats, but it's also obviously not really supported, and there are just some. I don't know. Now I'll move it up to B. But it's just kind of what I'll put it above Unlimited as well, because it's more like serious. Unlimited is like unplayable in a competitive sense. Now we have a singleton standard. This format's like bad. I don't really know how you'd play this. It exists. Some people kind of played it. I've tried it out. It's like a challenge, but it's not really actually fun because the decks are kind of inconsistent and it's not really designed for it. So yeah, it's not awful, but it's pretty bad. There's not really any reason to play this over standard, or really most of the other formats. There's not really any reason to play this. GLC is a better singleton format, definitely, and they're like singleton standard just doesn't really make a lot of sense to play. It's not pure trash, I guess, but it's not great either. Now I'll talk about past formats, old formats. Old formats are definitely something. I'm not a big fan of them. Some people like them a lot, but it's for like nostalgia, and I don't know. I think it's you kind of can compare this to Legacy format, obviously, and I guess it's better. Is it though? Yeah, I guess it's not officially supported. We can play like Worlds decks. Honestly, I'll put it at top of C tier. Old formats are kind of fun, but I don't know. They're just nostalgia. That's like the only thing they have going for them, and if you like them, you like them. It obviously depends on the format as well. There's some awful old formats, but there are a number of good ones as well, which is kind of the ones that people talk about. Kind of hard to get cards for, obviously, because they're not legal anymore unless you're just playing like a few sets ago, which case, like, why do you do that? So it's okay. And this also includes like block formats, I guess, like Sun and Moon block formats, like not an official format, but it's something people play. No, it's an okay format, but it doesn't bring a lot interesting to the table. I feel like you should just play standard format if you want to play a standard format. Then we have, I guess I'll talk about the iconic format, Playground. Playground rules. This is gonna go in S tier, where this is just the format that like you'd play in grade school with you and your friends, and you just kind of like make up rules. But like everyone knows this and everyone loves this. If you like don't know this, you missed out. It's so fun. Honestly, I might make a video just talking about this. It's like very silly, very casual. It's very fast and pure fun. I think it's definitely most players' best experience with Pokemon. It's easily S tier. Obviously, no competitive idea at all, but it's just super fun, super silly. So yeah, I need to figure out some way to work with this format. But it's really fun and very silly and just pure bliss. Now I'll talk about the draft formats. This is Cube Draft. It's like a cube, but and then Booster Draft. Cube Draft is okay. I'll talk about Booster Draft first. Booster Draft like isn't good. There are certain like different sets that are kind of a bit better for it, but overall Booster Draft's kind of bad. I'll put it in D tier as well. This is just from like sealed booster packs, and it doesn't really work very well because like you're just gonna end up with a bunch of unplayable stuff. So yeah, not amazing there. It's kind of like, and I'll talk about pre-release for it as well. This Booster Draft could be like, not pre-release draft. It's a little different. But yeah, pre-release formats are pretty cool. I'll put it at like B tier. They obviously there's no, I'll put it in C tier. There's the big issue that you can't play a pre-release format like again because you just got your deck. You can play the same deck, but part of the fun's building your deck. Booster Draft though is like not good. It's kind of bad because the packs aren't meant for it versus Cube Draft where it is meant for it. Cube is like I don't know, mostly just it's pretty much just played by like really old people. Like I think the only channel I know that plays it is like OmniPoke. So yeah, it's really hard to find a group of people to do it unless they're like, I don't know, like if you're like with all your like retired Pokemon friends, I guess you can play it, but it's just so long. It takes like a whole week to play. Um, if you actually want to get it done, like you need to draft, which takes like hours, and then you need to build a deck, and then you need to play like a bunch of games, and it's kind of fun if it happens, but it's pretty much inaccessible to almost everyone. So, I mean, it's not ending up in D. It'll be like C tier, bottom of C tier seems fine though. Then we have I'll talk about live expand. I should have talked about this sooner. And this format's kind of bad, right? It's kind of weird to play. Honestly, the format's not awful though, but I'll probably put it in. It's better than pre-release, I think. I'll put in B tier. It's like an official format. It's kind of okay. No one really plays it, which is a problem, but people will continue to play it because okay, if you don't know, live expand is not getting like updated until. I don't think it's getting updated this calendar year, which is kind of bad. But at the same time, it's an okay format. It's not awful. It would be better if it was like actual. Well, no, it's actually a more fun format than official expanded. Honestly, I'm gonna drop Legacy down one, I guess, because no one plays it. But live expanded is cool because you got just a more interesting format with just less toxic stuff. A lot of the horrible control stuff's banned, or not in the format, and a lot of the overpowered turbo stuff's not in the format as well. They make the format completely broken, so I think it's just honestly healthier and more accessible and like more fun. Now, these are a few other formats I'll talk about. Everyone's a basic Ember Powers format. This format's honestly, I don't know. Obviously, no one really plays it. Sorry, Ember Power, but no one plays it. It's kind of fun. It seems cool. It's not as good as GLC. Is it better than like Legacy? The format's kind of cool. I'll put it like here above, and I'll put it below. I'll put above Cube. It's easier to play than Cube. The format looks cool, but obviously no one really plays it. I think it's like a fun format. I don't know if it'll like pick up. It'd be cool if it picks up. So Ember Power, if you want to play against me, hit me up, or anyone. Check out Ember Power's video on EAB format. Which I probably won't have linked. I don't know. And then also my own format, random format. Honestly, I think random format's pretty good. I think it's easier to pick. It's like the issue with, I guess one of the big issues with Everyone's a Basic, in my opinion, is that you can't play it really on TCG Live or online. So it's really difficult to play, and you have to play a tabletop, webcam, some other simulator. But yeah, I'm going to put my random format actually in top of B. I know this is high praise. But actually, I'm going to move Ace List above my format. But yeah, I think it's really. I think my random balance format is pretty solid. It's not like anything insane, but it's just getting there to be very solid. It's very easy because you can just pick up a list, you just run a match and see how it goes. It's very fast and simple. I kind of like Playground Rules. It's not Playground Rules S tier format, but it's okay. Yeah, the more I'm looking at it, the more I realize there are so many like not good formats. Really, the only ones that are worth playing are like these two. And this one, of course, my own format. But yeah, so my random balance format, I think it's good because it's very easy to pick up and play. It's cheap, and it's a very fun, casual format. So definitely worth playing. Go check that out. And then raid battles format, like no one plays this. This is kind of bad. It's like Pokemon if you don't have any friends. So theoretically, it should appeal to most Pokemon players, but yeah, it's not very good. You don't really like play the game. What are these other formats? Singleton Standard and Pack. It's top of D. Yeah, this is what my final tier list, the objectively correct tier list. I think I feel like pretty good about this list. I don't think I made any obvious mistakes. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the formats aren't very accessible, and that's like the biggest issue. So I think a good format needs to be accessible, fun, casual, all that stuff. But I hope you enjoyed this tier list video. Tell me if I missed anything. I think I got everything. I don't remember any formats that I missed that I was like thinking about considering adding. I think I have everything. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, I'm excited to see you in the next one.